everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of SAFA Extra Time. It is here that we delve into some of the games that have happened over the match week and try to provide you with insights and an overview of what happened, and most importantly, of why it happened. I'm your host, Ujjwal, also known as Los Blancosboy, joined by my fellow analyst, Sam. He's known by the username Sam MUFC 844 in the community. And today we are going to dive deep into the tactical intricacies of the recent SAFA League game in Match Week 1 of Conference A between Heavy Metal Football and Legendary DX. Our goal is to provide a comprehensive breakdown, not just for the teams involved, but also for all you enthusiasts out there looking to gain insights into high level gameplay. Whether it's a stunning goal, a tactical masterstroke, or a game changing decision, SAFA Extra Time leaves no stones unturned. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So, Sam, how are you doing, my brother?
All good as well. I'm happy that you'll have come up with this concept of extra time where we usually play FIFA, just as a fun game, but sometimes when teams actually practice and spend hours and hours playing together, it is important for them to even get into the tactical aspects of the game and know what has to be done during the game. So yeah, I'm just glad to be a part of this where we could possibly help some teams get things right in terms of how they attack and defend.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's a wonderful initiative, and we are definitely looking to get, more videos coming forward in this regard. And without further ado, let's talk about the formations and tactics that, both Legendary DX and Heavy Metal kind of came with in that game. So before we come to that, let's talk about the setup that Heavy Metal Football and Legendary DX both had on their side. So would you like to, talk about in terms of an overview, would like to give an overview of how they kind of approached the game, considering this was the first game that Heavy Metal and Legendary DX kind of played together. And definitely there were some nerves going into the game. So how did they cope up with that?
Yeah, I ran through the game, and again, it's too early to say, which team is going to play how, because it was just the first match day, it was the first match week, So I think Heavy Metal played 3-5-2, a very attacking approach, committing men forward. I really lo love their gameplay, in terms of how they attacked, and in the same manner, if I see. Um, Legendary DX, I think they played a 4-3-3. However, they had a defensive approach where they were defending in numbers and were rather, just playing on the counter. So I think it was the way heavy metal committed men ahead. It was a match made in heaven for a counter-attacking Legendary DX side. Again, the chances still had to be finished. I don't think they had any other chances apart from the four, five odd shots that they had during the game. But again, very well taken goals. But again, I think there were some hiccups and gaps at the back for heavy metal rather. That led to Legendary DX getting through on those chances. Okay, talking
Absolutely.
from the tactical point of view, sorry, Vishwa, to cut you off, but I'll just go into the tactical point of view on briefly rather. I think heavy metal attacked both the wings of Legendary DX and the fullbacks of Legendary DX. They were incapable to rather mark and stay with the guys, and it was easy days, and for heavy metal, in terms of crossing from the wing and even passing from the wing, that helped them. Get the first goal as well. That was scored by Stoke, and I think there were a couple of great chances as well. I think. Bala missed a couple of chances, and I think They should have been scored, and had they been scored, I think the game, the scoreline could have been something different. Legendary DX, on the other hand, I mean, they defended in numbers. They were struggling to put passes together. But again, when they got the ball through to the two runners, I think they were, apart from the two runners up ahead, they had the entire team behind the ball. But the moment they won the ball in their own defensive third, they launched it to their runners. And I think there was some defensive priorities at the back for heavy metal that led into legendary DX, running through on goal. Okay, let's look at snippets, I think, Ujjwal, from the game. Let's look at the first goal that was scored by Legendary DX.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And just to add to that, I mean, do you feel that, 4-2, so just to, kind of give a context, Legendary DX won 4-2. So that was the score that was,
Yeah.
between them. So do you think it's a reflection, it's a good reflection of what should have happened? Do you think it's a justified scoreline?
Again, as I said, had heavy metal taken the chances, I think the score could have been something else. Legendary DX, so they didn't have many chances on goal, but whatever, all the chances that they had, they took them, and heavy metal didn't. So that was probably the difference. That led to the scoreline being the scoreline that with which it ended. So yeah, again, I mean, it was a classic case of Leicester City Premier League, winning season, where they just played defense, 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 playing on the counter, and that is what they did. And with the back three of and the back three of heavy metal were just not able to cope up with the pace of the runners.
Absolutely. So let's now look at few of the snippets from the video itself. We have, as you know, that we record all the games that have happened during the match week, and this is the game that happened between Legendary DX and Heavy Metal Football right in front of your screen. So I will quickly take you to the timestamp where the first goal was conceded and LDX scored there. So it's right now. I'll just play it in front of you. So
Yeah, as you see, LDX again defending in numbers, but when they get the ball out on the counter, they have runners running through. Yeah. In this very snippet, if you see the back three of heavy metal, the left center back goes to press the winger of Legendary DX. Again, he misses the press. That is bound to happen sometimes, but there was nobody else closing him down. And if you see in the center, both the central center back and the right center back of heavy metal were both marking the same one person. So I think in this case, had there was another had Priest, who is the central center back of heavy metal, gone towards the goal scorer, he could have been closed down, and the shot could have been avoided. Also, I think the goalkeeper should do a little better over here. Probably could be saving that shot. But again, I mean, the shot should have been. They should have rather, avoided the shot at the first place.
absolutely, I think the starting position of the GK is slightly questionable here because no way. I mean, whenever you're taking shots from inside the box, that is when you have to cover your near post. But when it's taken from outside the box, then far post is something that is always a risk. So I think very good on CDIP that he found that corner and they got a goal. So
But again, if you see, as I've said, earlier as well, committing men forward, and uh, there were gaps, in defense when it comes when there was a switch in possession. Let's go to the second goal. Okay, if you see the legendary DX here had a throw in. The guy in the center was totally unmarked, and the gap between the two defenders. If you see the central center back and the right center back, the ball was easily penetrated through, and went to the left winger, who basically took a well taken goal. Again, I think in the center of midfield, the guy, you cannot just leave him unmarked. Also, if you see the RM, I think one of the RM or the right centre back have to be marking the runner who basically went on and scored. I think there was a little, they switched off due to which they conceded this goal.
Do you think that this was a case where the backline could not establish a good communication between them? Because it clearly appears that the RCB, who is Akbar, if I recall, is in two minds that whether he should track that man or whether he should play the offside trap, which clearly they fail to do. So
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think at this position, it depends team to team, right? I mean, what approach you go for when it comes to the back line. At this position, I think rather he should have gone and tracked the man because there was there's no other problems or there's no other attacker, right, rather in the box or in the final third, rather, who could have gotten a chance from that runner. So I think the runner should have been marked, and yeah, I think the reason why they went on and conceded.
absolutely. And just to point one more thing, so there's an instance where I see that the DMs are not trying to press. So was this like a strategy that heavy metal kind of, went with that they are although they seem to be playing high line in some instances, but at the same time, the amount of space that gamer BD has to pick the passes is crazy. Like there is absolutely no one trying to, charge at him.
Yeah, again, as I said, I think the players in terms of marking the men were off. From heavy metal's point of view. The reason why, Gamer BD, if you see at the center of the park, has acres of time and space to get that ball through. I think he's not been closed down. The positioning of the defensive midfielder should have been better. But I think that's about it for the school.
A rather cool finish by Don, I would say. I don't
Yeah.
think the keeper could have done anything more. Of course, we have seen keepers making some crazy saves throughout the preseason and also in the league games, but I think this was a very good finish from him.
Yeah, good finish. Yeah. Heavy Metal then came back with a good goal. As I said again, the entirety of their gameplay was through the wings, exploiting the defensive frailties of LDX's fullbacks, and I think this was a really well taken goal. Um, and but the fullbacks obviously of LDX have to be doing much better with it, but nothing to take away from. Heavy Metal's passing over there. And yeah, no, it was a really well taken goal, a good near post finish by Abhishek.
Absolutely, that was a very cool finish, and it was almost a snapshot, and it kind of hit the inside of the post, and it's almost impossible for the GK to react because we know that when that happens, the animations kind of go off, and the GK doesn't react. But looking at this instance again, I mean, Sam, do you think that although LDX had so like they were defending in such huge numbers, they have the men to defend, and there's not a lot of options available for VZ here. Do you think that the CBs should have positioned themselves better?
They could have, but I think once if you see over here, VZ, once he's through, uh, if you see the center back in the center over there, he's going to mark the guy on the far post. Right. I mean, he has multiple guys to mark because I think the guy on the far post, that's Bala, I believe, he's already gotten out of his markers. So I think once VZ's through, I think there's nothing that the LDX defenders could do over there. And as I said, earlier as well, uh, the right winger for the RM rather for heavy metal should have been stopped over there. criminal,
Yeah,
basically. Too much time and space for him to find a pass.
absolutely, absolutely. This move has been like, is kind of in picture even right from here. The CB is like in two minds whether to commit and, mark Weezy or whether he should just go towards Papoose. And if you see, all the players are kind of behind. So they definitely fail to man mark, their guys properly. So a good goal from heavy metal side. Stock gives heavy metal a chance to come back.
I think LDX came back with a good response, getting the third goal. You know, the classic case of committing a high risk, high reward game where it didn't turn out well for the team taking the risk rather again committing men forward, getting into a 2v2 situation. And once I think, can we move forward? Yeah, and once I think the attacker gets through Priest, I think it was game over for them. I think the RCB probably could have marked the guy on the left hand side for ADX a little better, the goal scorer. But I think should have the defense should have been a little better. If you're committing that many men forward, I think they should have a defensive insurance with a CDM, staying back over there to give them some kind of defensive support. And if they are going into a situation, and obviously, with them playing this high risk game, they would know that in the in turn of possession, the centre backs will be in a situation where they will have to defend 1v1. So I think in this case, Priest should have probably consolidated and waited for numbers to get back rather than committing forward because again him committing means he's through on goal and it's a 2v1 situation for LDX which happened over there and another well taken goal by the LDX attacker.
Absolutely, and it's a classic case where you have a 2v2 scenario. So you would expect that the team that is defending tries to delay the attack rather than committing because if Priest commits here, then it's basically game over. And absolutely, looking at the time, it was only 36-10 into the game, and they had a lot of time to kind of build their game and try to come back. But I think they choose to put a lot of men forward. And as you said, it's high risk, high reward, and well played on LDX. And I think the GK could not have done anything here. It's a very difficult chance to save. So another good goal from Don.
We see over here heavy metal then coming back with their second goal, giving them a chance in the game. If you see again, as I've said, the entire game, heavy metal dominated the wing play, and LDX, the fullbacks of LDX had no response, had no answer for how they played on the wing. Again, the entire game, if I see they've attacked the right hand side, the left hand side rather of LDX. And again, VZ finding a good pass out there, and although they're defending in numbers, Emmanuel takes a long shot over there, which the keeper I think should do better. But again, I think it is a glitch probably in the game where he gets a hand on it and the ball still goes at the back of the net. So I think I wouldn't dive deep into what the keeper should have done over there because I think he still gets a hand to it. But I think on the contrary, LDX should be defending much better there from the wide areas and again heavy metal, getting the better of them out there.
Absolutely, and if we again go through this entire sequence, it feels as if LDX, although is defending in numbers, they feel a bit scared, or I would say, to just go all out. As in, if you see that there are two center backs trying to mark Weezy, but they don't completely go after him. They try to just drop back and they just try to contain him. And of course, Breezy has a lot of time to find that pass, and then it's obviously a very good. I would say, it's not a good shot, to be honest. It was red timed as well. and it just kind of goes in. So I would say it's a lucky goal, but again, it has come at the cost of poor defending from LDX, I would say.
Just when Heavy Metal, thought they had a chance to get back in the game, I think uh, LDX just, killed the game with the fourth goal. Again, committing men forward, gaps between the defenders, and yeah, I think the keeper should be doing better. I mean, I don't think the goal should be going, and the keeper should be saving it. But I think again, the fact that he's getting into a goal scoring chance over there speaks volumes about how poor Heavy Metal were. With respect to their defending from the counter, gaps between the centre backs will never work well, especially when you're playing a three at the back with the both the LMs and the RMs both committed forward. So I think yeah, well taken goal. Probably some question marks about the keeper, but again, I think defensively they should be doing much better.
Absolutely, and this has been a thing with Akbar, who was playing right center back. It felt that at times he was confused as to whether completely go in or kind of just maintain the line. And here's another scenario where he just was not able to cope up with Don, and
I think yeah.
throughout
Sorry
this.
to cut you off. I think there's another scenario. Obviously, the game state plays a huge role in this with the heavy metal. Down, by a goal, trying to get a goal. So obviously the LMRM have committed forward. Akbar tries to go wide. I think in this case, had Akbar come narrower while he was tracking back, had he come narrower, gone straight or come narrow, I think he had a better chance. But I think he was going straight. He was going towards the attacker, due to which I think the attacker got the better of him, and yeah, he got through on goal.
Absolutely, and if we just pause at this sequence, we can see that Gamer has a lot of options available. There's a guy running on the right that is again unmarked, so that could have been another attacking threat. And Don has been someone who, whenever has received the ball, he has always looked to take that first time shot. So again, that was a very good strategy on his part. He did not try to make it complicated. He always went for the shot. And I think that is where the GK was not expecting that from him. So I think he was kind of standout player for Legendary DX, I would say, because he scored most of the goals and he seemed to be very cool whenever it comes to finishing.
It was a very enjoyable game, a 4 to high scoring game, but I think it was a classic case of a team taking their chances and another team rather not. I think Heavy Metal had the better, big chances compared to Legendary DX. And again, as I've said, this entire video for this in this entire video rather, that had they taken those chances, and I mean, the scoreline could have been completely different. With them committing so many men forward, I think Game State had a play in it, because they were behind for most of the time. They had men committed forward, but I think the counter-attacking style for LDX worked well in their favor. I think heavy metal should probably work on one area where if they're committing everyone forward, they still need that defensive stability to still be there. They need the wide centre backs to be on point and not being switched off, along with probably one defensive midfielder. I would say, being there as a security. Well, I think that's it from my end. Still early days in the league. The teams are still trying to, new teams still trying to find out their best formation, their best team, the best 11, the best play style they want to go with. So I think, yeah, I think I enjoyed the sequence. Yeah, Vijay.
Thank you so much, Sam. I think you did a very good job trying to dissect the game and talk about all the chances that were created and the goals that were scored. And I'm pretty sure both the teams and all those who will be watching this video, they would be taking some insights from that. And It was a fun session with you breaking down this game, and we hope that this analysis not only provides insights into strategies employed by both teams, but also serves as a learning opportunity for all the football enthusiasts there. And since it was the first game that Heavy Metal played, I think that also kind of played in their heads because we say or not, they were kind of favorites going into this fixture, but I'm pretty sure they play again. Uh, they would be very cautious, and they would be absolutely working on these things and mistakes that they have made. So we have kind of come up with this new approach where we dissect and analyze games that have happened over this week, over the match week, and uh, this is a new thing that we have come up with. So stay tuned for more in-depth analysis in the future. Uh, Absolutely, this is a new thing that we are doing. So feel free to comment or suggest anything that we should include going forward. Until next time, keep enjoying the beautiful game. Thanks a lot, Sam.
Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you